On May 6th of 2010, there was a flash crash in the stock market where the stock market fell almost 10% in a matter of minutes. And that was the overall stock market.
Let's take a look at P&G. All right, this is going to say everything. P&G is now down 25%.
Oh, well, that's true. If that stock is there, you just go and buy it. It can't be there. That is not a real price.
That stock was down 2%.
Just go buy Procter.
All right, this is an unprecedented
Just go buy Procter & Gamble. They're putting a decent quarter.
Is there a hedge fund that is liquidating? Is there a distressed seller?
A 49 and a quarter bid for 50,000 Procter if I were at my hedge fund.
I mean, the market was down 900 points. We're now down 688.
So remember, I buy 50,000 49. I now flip it at 59. I just paid 500 G's. I mean, you got to be very careful here.
Somebody just made.
The guy watched the show. He bid 50. He bid for 50.
So there were specific stocks, I believe 8 of them in the S&P 500 that fell to 1 cent a piece. We're talking stocks like Accenture, which is currently a $189 billion company, or Exelon, which is currently a $41 billion company, were valued at 1 cent a share for a few moments. And, the point of this story is that there were a lot of people that got very lucky in that time and made millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. They had the capital, they were set up, they knew the market makers, they were there at that very moment, and they took advantage of it. And they made more money than they could possibly spend in their lifetime and their future generations' lifetimes. Now, there are a lot of people that will see examples of that and say, wow, that is just once in a lifetime. That is super, super lucky. But the point of the story is this is an extreme example of being in the right place at the right time with the capital and knowledge. And even in the most extreme examples of being lucky, there's still an opportunity element of being good at your craft, whatever it is, and being able to capitalize on that. What I'm trying to say is that you really set yourself up to be lucky. Now, in this industry, not talking about stock market, like the collectibles market, something like Pokemon cards, sports cards, video games, there are experts, right, who people follow, be it on social media like YouTube, or they might follow them in forums, and people who have large collections that are like, wow, those are the experts. They really made a whole lot of money on their stuff. And a lot of people kind of look at those and they say, well, but if the 2020 boom didn't happen, they'd be in a much different spot. They'd still have a nice collection, and they'd still really know the market and probably still be an expert, but they wouldn't make their hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And the point of this is that, like I said before, if you're in business, like, I am, selling people's cards online, on eBay for them via consignment, and growing this business, you set yourself up to be lucky. And, I've been very lucky in this industry. There have been a lot of plays that just kind of came to me. But when I say just kind of came to me, it's a lot of work on the back end to be able to set yourself up to be lucky. Something, let's say, for example, we know about 2020, but I like to bring this example because it's pretty still fresh in people's minds. And it's a good example that, I took part of, and, a lot of people took part of. But guys, there are always these black swan events, right, that happen, right? These black swan events, these once in a lifetime things that happen. And it's kind of crazy. It keeps happening all the time, and it will continue happening forever. There will always be bubbles, always be crashes. If there was only one bubble, then it would have happened, like a long time ago, right? We always hear about the tulip mania. It would have stopped then, right? But it doesn't. It'll keep happening over and over and over again because that's human psychology. So just giving you an example, of creating my own luck. If you're right on the cutting edge of trends and you're really deep into the weeds and you're really, on the forums, knowing everything and being an expert, there are going to be opportunities that are going to set you up for situations for success. For example, like right now, I'll go back to my example of 2020, but, modern Japanese product is very expensive. I mean, there was signs that was happening a while ago, and you could have been on the forefront of that and really created quite a position of Japanese product to be able to capitalize on that. It was there. It was moving. Also, something like, right now happening, TCA Gaming, right? He's selling base set booster packs, vintage booster packs for like $600-$700, $500-$700, something that's pretty expensive amount, if compared to something eBay sales. Now, granted, eBay, people think they're weighed, whatever, this is truly unweighed. I'm not going to get into pricing, but my point is that the speed that he's selling it and selling out and opening this product is something that we didn't see like 6 months ago, right? Now, 6 months ago, did we see the price of vintage booster boxes plateau or actually stop going down? Yeah, we did. We absolutely did. I mean, like base set unlimited boxes were like 2,000 in like 2019, and then they got up to like in 2020 30,000, right? And the past few years they've gone down to 20 and back down to 10. They might have broken 10 and gone down to like 9-ish, but I think it like 10-ish was about when it stopped. And now they've gone back up. You kind of saw that bottoming, and then it's definitely pretty liquid for an expensive product as it is now. And you can tell by, like I said, being really engaged in the hobby, seeing people sell out of this stuff really quickly. It's a good indication of where the hobby is at the moment. So going back to my example of kind of creating your own luck, in like April of 2020, I was creating a submission, and a lot of these like Jungle First Edition commons were just sitting there from years of buying collections, taking out the hollows, the stuff that actually had value, grading it, flipping it, and then the bulk stuff that really wasn't worth it. Wasn't even worth your time to sell them at singles. For me, there are still people that will sell 99-cent singles on eBay, but for me, it just wasn't worth it. Put it in the back. Then you started seeing like the PSA 10 movements, right? It was like, hey, they were $20 and they're $30. I think they were like $35-ish, maybe, in April of 2020. It was around there. It was definitely worth it to start to send it at that price because, I was selling PSA 9 first edition, Team Rocket cards like the Arbok, Dark Arbok for like $24, so to have a PSA 10 of a common card that's much easier to grade was like $34. Like, well, let's just throw some in there. So I threw in like 10 of those cards, something like that. And then, that's from years of collecting this stuff, keeping it back, keeping it in mint condition, knowing it's not worth your time to sell it, and knowing your time value. And then holding on to it, and then maybe it never goes up, right? And this is the thing about luck, is that sometimes stuff happens, and you see those trends happen. Like I said with Modern Japanese, what I said with like TCA selling out all the base set boxes and seeing the vintage sealed stuff go up a bit. I threw it in there, and I got lucky. Okay, I got lucky, but I created it in the fact that I saw the trend. I'd been years into it. Saw what was happening to it and said, you know what? Great. Now it's my time for a card that probably cost me a few cents. I'll sell it for $40. What did I end up selling it for when I got the submission back in like September of 2020? I ended up selling it for $900 a piece, those Pikachus. It was an insane multiple. And that's kind of what happened in the flash crash. People buy and sell stuff all the time. They're day traders. I think the statistic is if you are an excellent day trader, I think you win like 57% of the time. 57% of the time is you win. I mean, it's close to a coin flip if you're a really good day trader. But sometimes those day traders, you win big, and that's what really carries you throughout those losses. This is a win big. Yeah, and that's really my point of this. I see people who like see some people who are successful and really cashed in on the 2020 crash or 2020 boom, or the 2016 boom, or there are people like Gary King Pokemon, right, who bought a whole lot of stuff in 1999 and 2000. He cashed in as well. That's there are people that say, well, if I was there then, guys, there will be more thens. There will be a then in 2030. There'll be a then in the 2040s. There will be a then in the 2050s. It'll be like, man, you'll be in 2050s and be like, man, I wish 2042. I wish I was there when that happened, right? It's always going to happen because that's human psychology. So I guess the point of this video was just to say, you create your own luck. If you're deep in the weeds, if you're creating business relationships, you're going to get stuff that's going to be sent to you, collections that may not be shown to anybody else, you first, which you're going to have the first, dibs on that. That's creating your own luck from creating relationships. And so, yeah, pretty interesting story with the flash crash of 2010. It's something that probably will happen again, in the stock market because everything is algorithm based now. Everything is like traded by trading robots, that just create algorithms and trade a penny at a time. Something will snowball down the road and it'll create another flash crash. It'll have an opportunity, and there will be some people there who will be ready to make money. Just like there will be some other boom, there will be something else that will spike in price, whether it's niche, people who had like the Topsun, no number Charizard that went from nobody cared to like a $400,000 card and then crashed back down. There's somebody that cashed out big. There'll be niche items like that, or there'll be like really not niche items like we had in 2020 when like base set Charizards and PSA, PSA 7s were selling for thousands of dollars when you could have bought them for, like $50 6 months before. There will be something else like that. Now, I don't know when it'll be. Of course, I'm not guaranteeing it, but there's always booms and busts cycles that happen, and you got to create your own luck by continuing to be engaged in your business, in your hobby, whatever it is. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.